Welcome aboard, everybody. Dr. Peter Glidden here, your steadfast advocate for health. Thanks for tuning in and turning on. This is my worldwide free webinar. Tonight we're talking about preservatives in nutritional supplements. What's up with that? And more importantly, humic shale. Two words, you have no idea what they mean, and they will change your life. I'm Dr. Peter Glidden, your steadfast advocate for health. Thanks for tuning in and turning on. We're going to get started here. And this is what we are going to be discussing this evening. Potassium sorbate, sodium benzoate, sucralose, citrusweet, NutraSweet, and humic shale. All of these from the holistic perspective, which is the only perspective to be concerned with when somebody is attempting to understand the nature of a chronic health condition and what to do about it. Tonight we're focusing on products specifically. Remember, this is all couched inside of the terminology, inside of the perspective of science-based, clinically verified, holistic medical nutrition, developed and delivered by licensed physicians. We're also going to be talking a little bit about my insider subscription service. And if you are a newcomer, please write this website down, freedoctorbook.com, freedoctorbook.com. That's a website that you can go to, which will let you download for free an e-book version of my book, The MD Emperor Has No Clothes, Everybody is Sick, and I Know Why. Education is very important here in the not-so-free world in the 21st century. Since the early 1900s, the medical marketplace has been monopolized by the pharmaceutical industry to the exclusion of all others. We do not have a free medical market in the world in the 21st century. We haven't had one for 100 years. And because of the monopolization of the medical marketplace, there is a plethora of misinformation. There are tons of data points which are out of skew. There is misinformation everywhere all of the time. I took a vow in 1991. I took an oath in 1991 to help educate people about their options. And this is my strength, and this is what I bring to the table tonight. My experience in the field of medical nutrition, and specifically tonight with the formulation of nutritional supplements, what's inside them and why. Now, for those of you who are new, every couple of months, maybe once a quarter, maybe more than that, we do a free webinar. Most of the webinars that I deliver are for my insider subscribers only. They're exclusive for insiders. But tonight, we've given this link for this webinar to all and sundry. And so hopefully we're going to have a lot of new people here tonight. So if you are new, you probably don't know who good old Dr. Glidden is. So let me just give you a quick overview of my resume. I'm a naturopathic physician. I did my Bachelor of Science in Pre-Med at the University of Massachusetts in 1987. I secured my naturopathic doctoral degree from Bastyr University of Naturopathic Medicine in 1991. I'm currently licensed by the great state of Minnesota to practice naturopathic medicine. There's my license. How about that? And I have 26 years of clinical experience in the delivery of naturopathic therapeutics. Over the last 6 years, I have had the great good fortune, arguably the best thing that's happened to me in my professional career so far was meeting and mentoring with Dr. Joel Wallach, the founder of the Longevity Company, who is a legend, a living legend in the field of nutritional research and applied clinical therapeutics, applied holistic therapeutics. Dr. Wallach has forgotten more about pathophysiology than most physicians know. And Dr. Wallach's understanding about what to do when you are saddled with a chronic disease, What to do to get on the other side of it is unparalleled. Nobody knows what Dr. Wallach knows, and everybody needs to know what Dr. Wallach knows. I'm happy to be an advocate and a cheerleader for Dr. Wallach and the Longevity Company. By way of clarity, I am not a Longevity corporate member. I am not paid a penny by Longevity. I am not a Longevity distributor. I would love to be. I make no money at all from the sale of any Longevity nutritional supplements. I've chosen to do this after seeking legal counsel because the Federal Trade Commission does not like it when you relate the use of a nutritional supplement to a disease if you make money from that nutritional supplement. So in order for me to get up on the world stage and tell you the truth about the relationship between medical nutrition and disease, I have to keep my hands free of the money. So having said that, by way of clarity, just understand I'm not a representative of Longevity. Longevity has not looked over this presentation. They've not given me the thumbs up. I'm a cheerleader for Longevity and Dr. Wallach, and I will go to my grave a cheerleader for Longevity and Dr. Wallach. Because in 26 years of clinical experience, 26 years of frontline primary care naturopathic medical treatment, Dr. Wallach's products and Dr. Wallach's therapeutics, Dr. Wallach's products delivered by the Longevity Company, produce more consistent, better, effective results than any nutritional supplements I have ever seen, and I've been around the block. It's all about effectiveness and results because people are suffering needlessly all around the world. And Longevity products, in my clinical experience, deliver results where others fail. So let's get into it. Once again, ladies and gentlemen, thanks so much for showing up. I appreciate your attendance here very, very much. And remember, no matter what happens, take a breath and remain calm. I'm the doctor. Sucralose. What the heck is it and why is it used? And is it good or is it bad? Is it going to kill you or what's up? Sucralose, of course, also known as Splenda, is a non-glycemic sweetener that nutritional supplement companies and food manufacturers often will put into their products in order to decrease the amount of sugar in the products, therefore, or thereby reducing the amount of calories and reducing the glycemic index. It's not a bad idea to reduce the glycemic index because, as you have seen in previous webinars that I've done, we eat way too much sugar in the Western world. If you do a Google search for Splenda, you will see lots of information, most of which you need to take with a grain of salt. Remember, I'm a naturopathic physician, and naturopathic physicians are trained in the scientific method. We marry the scientific method with holistic philosophy in order to generate results, in order to generate theories, in order to generate hypotheses, which we then prove using scientific method or disprove with the scientific method. And one of the benefits of being a naturopathic physician trained in the scientific method is that we don't have any prejudice beforehand, the same way that researchers working in universities have a priori built-in prejudices because their research is funded by the pharmaceutical industry. Well, Dr. Glidden's brain is not funded by the pharmaceutical industry nor anybody else. And so I like to think I'm as objective and unbiased as it gets. And this sword cuts both ways. If you look at the effects, side effects here that are listed for Splenda: allergic reactions, blurred sugar, blurred vision, or blood sugar increases, blurred vision, gastrointestinal problems, seizures, dizziness, migraines, and weight gain are all side effects of Splenda. Interestingly enough, those are also side effects of sugar. So what's going on here? What's going on? Sugar creates the same side effects. Well, I don't know if anybody can be allergic to sugar. That's kind of a stretch, because remember, you can only be allergic to a protein. But nonetheless, on just first blush, the layperson would look at this and be horrified. But when you think it through, perhaps this isn't as big, bad a voodoo daddy as we thought it was. Now, also, researchers, bloggers, Dr. Mercola, and the ilk will go out of their way to tell you that Splenda increases the pH level and slows down digestion. It kills the good bacteria in the intestines by 50%, promotes weight gain. Splenda is considered hepatotoxic and nephrotoxic. That means it's bad to your liver and bad to your kidneys. And 7% of Splenda remains 5 days after consumption, and it may lead to the damage of kidneys. But what they will neglect to tell you is that all of this research was done on rats. Now, if you were to read this and not know that, you would assume that it's been proven that this non-glycemic sweetener destroys 50% of the beneficial bacteria in humans. No, well, maybe. What we know, it destroys it in rats. Promotes weight gain in rats. Damages the liver, damages the kidneys in rats. 7% remains in the body of rats, but it doesn't make this distinction. And people who have no experience with research, no experience with the ins and outs of anything having to do with the scientific method are easily misled. Now listen, you know me. My whole thing is fire your MD now, because the pharmaceutical industry is a corrupt, monopolistic organization that has very little concern for human health and is completely unconcerned with how to cure disease. So I'm not a friend of the pharmaceutical industry, but look, you know, the truth is the truth, and the sword of unbiased research cuts both ways. The truth of the matter is that there haven't been enough studies done with humans to know what's going on. We do animal studies first to get a sense of whether we need to follow this research up with human models or not. Regretfully, the human models have not been done. There have been 6 human trials, only 2 before the Food and Drug Administration approved it. Now, this is where the sword goes the other way, right? Because the Food and Drug Administration does not have the back of the American consumer. The Food and Drug Administration works for the pharmaceutical industry. So the Food and Drug Administration approved the use of sucralose, Splenda, after only 2 human trials. And interestingly enough, they only experimented with sucralose on 35 subjects, 26 of whom actually took the stuff. And one of the studies only looked at tooth decay, and the other one only looked at how well sucralose was absorbed in the bodies of 6 men. And yet the Food and Drug Administration approves it. Now, is this okay? No, it's ridiculous. This is bad science. This is money before research. This is not good. So, in point of fact, we have no earthly idea. Nobody knows whether or not sucralose is good for you or bad for you. It's bad for rats. We don't know if it's bad for human beings, and that's just the facts, ma'am, just the facts. Now, because of this controversy and because of the animal studies and the negative findings in the animal studies, nutritional supplement companies who have a clue are getting away from the use of sucralose. They're getting away from the use of sucralose because we don't know. We have no earthly idea. If someone tells you Splenda is bad for you, laugh and walk away. Maybe it is, maybe it's not. But nonetheless, because of the studies done with animals, prudent nutritional supplement companies are getting away from adding sucralose into their products. And right now, I believe there are only 3 old products in the longevity armamentarium that still contain sucralose. Longevity is replacing sucralose when they roll out new products because, well, better safe than sorry. Which brings us to CitraSweet. Citrus Sweet was championed by Suzanne Summers back in the day. Citrus Sweet is made from fructo-oligosaccharides. That's a mouthful. Fructo-oligosaccharides, soy extracts, and oat extracts. Fructo-oligosaccharides are naturally found in chicory, onions, asparagus, wheat, tomatoes, oranges, and other fruits, vegetables, and grains. I believe that the main vector of fruit and vegetable use in the manufacture of citrus sweet is orange peels. I may be wrong, don't quote me on that, but nonetheless, citrus sweet is a non-glycemic index sweetener. That means it doesn't mess with your blood sugar at all, doesn't make your blood sugar high, doesn't make your blood sugar low, and it's made from fruits and vegetables. It's extracted from fruits and vegetables. You can also suck fructo-oligosaccharides out of cane sugar and seaweed. Isn't that interesting? And one of the benefits of fructo-oligosaccharides is that they are actually beneficial for the bacteria that live in your gut. So citrus sweet is a good thing. Citrus sweet is not a bad thing. Citrus sweet is a good thing because it comes from fruits and vegetables, and it's been proven to have positive benefits on your intestinal flora. And if you've been with me for long enough, you know that that's a really important thing for optimizing the health of your body, having good intestinal flora. On the list, Rejuva, found in one of my favorite nutritional supplements of all time, Longevity's Beyond Tangy Tangerine 2.0. Rejuva Sweet is made from brown rice and vitamin C. It's made from brown rice and vitamin C. It's a non-glycemic index sweetener. It does nothing to your blood sugar one way or the other. And as far as the scientific community knows, there are no side effects from Rejuva Sweet. Comes from brown rice and citric acid. There's no harm and no foul there whatsoever. Stevia, of course, is a very popular non-glycemic sweetener. It's everywhere all the time. Even Coca-Cola and Pepsi are putting stevia into some of their soft drinks now. Stevia, of course, not to be confused with Stevia Nicks. Not to be confused with Stevie Nicks. And I was going to sing a little Stevie Nicks song here, but I don't think I'm up to it. There we go. That's what stevia really looks like. Stevia is a plant. It's a plant, and the active ingredients of stevia are extracted from the plant. It is 100% natural. Now, there are some companies which make stevia that put other things into their stevia product, right? So not all stevias are created equal, but pure stevia used by companies which are ethical are 100% natural, no fat, no sodium, no carbohydrates, no protein, and don't do a darn thing to your glycemic index. Stevia is a really good non-glycemic index sweetener. Now, which begs the question, well, what the heck do we need to use sweeteners for anyway? I mean, what's up with that, right? It's a good question. I mean, there's always going to be controversy about these things from uneducated people that don't even know which side of a test tube is up or down. So, I mean, why bother using a sweetener anyway? Well, there's a reason that these things have to be used. Now, Dr. Wallach, the founder of Longevity, the man who literally wrote the book on medical nutrition, $25 million research project that's now in the Smithsonian Institution as a national treasure, was written by Dr. Wallach, and it completely changed the medical community's understanding of the relationship between medical nutrition and health. This was a game changer. Dr. Wallach is the man. Dr. Wallach penned it over 12 years, $25 million of research, 26,000 autopsies, 10 million blood chemistries and histopathologies. It was a gigantic undertaking. And one of the results of this massive amount of research was, something that was probably common sense, but anyway, Wallach proved it, that the single best vector for nutritional supplements to get into the body are liquid form. Liquid nutritional supplements are the easiest form of nutritional supplements for the human body to absorb. Next on the list is a gel cap. Next on the list is a pressed tablet. Next on the list is a pressed tablet with shellac around it, like Centrum Silver. Those are really difficult to digest, virtually impossible to digest if you're elderly and have weak stomach acid. Hands down, the best form of nutritional supplements for absorption and assimilation into the bloodstream and the tissues of the human body are liquids. But there's a problem with liquids, because what's in the liquid? Vitamins, minerals, amino acids, the very stuff of life, the stuff that the body needs, the stuff that life is calling for, the stuff that life is yearning for. It's a major fertilizer, not just for the human body, but for mold and yeast and bacteria and just nasty stuff. Nasty stuff that's everywhere all the time. I mean, everybody has had a canister of milk go bad, right? Everybody has opened up the cream cheese and half of it's green because it's been in the back of the refrigerator for 6 months. Everybody's opened the yogurt and it's gone bad. Everybody's popped the top on the applesauce and it's filled with green crap. Everybody's done it. Why has everybody done it? Because nasty stuff, nasty microbes are everywhere all of the time. It's impossible to get away from them. So do you think they're going to like the longevity nutritional supplements? 100% concentrated, super saturated stuff. It is a gold mine for microbes. But we have to put them into a liquid form in order to facilitate their absorption into the system. By the way, longevity, of course, has a whole host of nutritional supplements in capsule form. You don't have to put preservatives or sweeteners in those. Longevity has a whole host of stuff in capsule form, but the best stuff that longevity has is liquid. And it's the liquid stuff that's a game changer. And because it's liquid, unless you put a preservative into it, that nasty stuff is going to get you. It's only a matter of time. This is why preservatives must be added to longevity nutritional supplements. And this is also, by the way, why sweeteners are added. Go back here just a second. The lion's share of the nutrients that are in longevity supplements are minerals, things like calcium and magnesium and sulfur and zinc. As we'll see in a few slides, minerals are a strong component of an effective medical nutritional supplement. Minerals are a big deal. Only problem with minerals is, man, they don't taste very good. By the way, neither do vitamins. I mean, have you ever chewed a multivitamin, or you've broken the cap open because you had a sore throat one day and you couldn't swallow a whole capsule, so you put the stuff in a little water and tried to drink it down? It's nasty. Vitamins don't taste good. Minerals taste even worse. So when you have a vitamin and a mineral in a liquid form, the only way that you're going to be able to swallow it, the only way that you're going to be able to swallow it is if you put something in there to sweeten it up. And what are your choices? Sugar? Well, I don't think so. Honey? Well, maybe, but honey's going to mess with your glycemic index. And if you have a blood sugar issue, or even remotely near of faulty blood sugar metabolism, the honey's going to screw with your metabolism, and it's going to offset some of the benefits of the nutritional supplements. So we have to use a non-glycemic sweetener just so that you can swallow it, because you couldn't otherwise. Magnesium is so bitter. You can take laboratory rats, starve them from magnesium, remove all the magnesium from their food for a couple of weeks, starving them from magnesium. Now, you know, a rat's an animal has instinct. An animal is going to know that it needs magnesium if it's starving from magnesium. If you put a block of magnesium, a little cube of magnesium in the cage with a laboratory rat that's starving from magnesium, the rat can't eat it because it's too bitter. You can't swallow that, even if you're starving from it. You just can't do it. Can't do it. So when you're taking a liquid nutritional supplement that has vitamins and minerals in it, it's got to be sweetened. Otherwise, nobody's going to be able to swallow it. So the trick is finding a sweetener that doesn't mess with your glycemic index. And that's why sweeteners are in the longevity liquid products. So now, of course, we come to the concept of bugs and nasty microbes and all this stuff that's everywhere all the time. It's going to love to get inside that bottle. And, you know, there's a little bit of it inside everything. It's impossible to have a 100% sterile, you know, you can't do that. So there's stuff in there. There's stuff everywhere. Just in your milk, in your orange juice, it's everywhere all the time. So if you are formulating a liquid nutritional supplement, because that's the best way to help people absorb it, you got to put preservatives in there. Otherwise, it's going to go bad in like 7 days. You open the stuff, 7 days later, it's filled with mold. That's nasty. So we need preservatives to kill that stuff all of the time. The middle of the night when you're sleeping, middle of the morning when you're working, middle of the afternoon when you're taking a coffee break. The preservatives are in there killing the bugs that are desperately trying to feed and breed. Life will find a way. So you got to put preservatives in it. But what are we trying to do with the nutritional supplement? We're trying to help people get better. So you don't want to be putting stuff in the nutritional supplement that's going to hurt people. So in the wonderful world of preservatives added to nutritional supplements, the two major players are potassium sorbate and sodium benzoate, which popular culture has led people to believe are evil, from the devil, and just nasty, bad fallout from the pharmaceutical industry. And I got to tell you, that's just not correct. Facts are a stubborn thing, and the sword of science cuts both ways. So let's drill it down. Potassium sorbate. This is all of the chemical stuff, all of the scientific stuff anybody ever needs to know about potassium sorbate. This is for all of the nerds and geeks in the audience. Go nerds, go nerds. Card carrying nerd, go nerds. But in point of fact, there is no debate in the scientific community as to whether potassium sorbate is good or bad. It's an academic fact. It's good. There's nothing wrong with potassium sorbate. Now, everything has something called an LD50. LD50 is a terminology that scientists use. It's called lethal dose 50. It stands for the dose of something which will kill 50% of the people who take it. Everything has an LD50. Water has an LD50. Carrots have an LD50. Milk has an LD50. Beer, alcohol, wine, pharmaceuticals, herbs, everything has an LD50. The LD50 for potassium sorbate is so far outside the zone that it's not even in the running for being a harmful substance. There are no problems whatsoever with potassium sorbate, and the alternative is nasty stuff growing in your nutritional supplement. So you need to just get over the fact that preservatives are bad because they're not. Well, you could make the argument that some are, but not the ones that make their way into longevity's nutritional supplements. Potassium sorbate And the redheaded stepchild that nobody wants to know, the biochemical, the chemical that is perhaps more misunderstood than Van Gogh was, sodium benzoate, an extremely misunderstood chemical because of the name. It's all in the name. Popular opinion will have you believe that, well, in point of fact, benzene is a nasty cancer-causing chemical. Benzene will kill you just as soon as look at you. Benzene is a big, bad voodoo daddy. And benzene shares 4 letters with benzoate. And so uneducated people who don't really know anything about biochemistry assume that sodium benzoate will turn into benzene. And didn't I read that somewhere? Well, you did. Everybody thinks that the benzoate part of sodium benzoate will turn into benzene inside the human body, and we're all going to die. And it's a plot by the drug companies to whittle down the population of Earth, right? It's eugenics. Well, no, it's not. I'm sorry, it's just not so. 2 + 2 does not equal 5. 2 + 2 = 4. And there are rules of biochemistry, right? Rules of chemicals. Chemicals do certain things. They don't do anything all the time. They only do certain things. I suppose you can make the argument that anything can happen. I mean, it's possible that the atoms in this room could spontaneously coalesce all by themselves into a grand piano. That's possible. It's possible. Human combustion is possible. It's possible. Anything's possible, but sodium benzoate turning into benzene just ain't going to happen. It's a myth. It's wrong thinking, but I'll tell you where it started. Benzoic acid naturally occurs in fruits. How about that? Now, don't we tell you to eat dark-skinned fruits to get the ORAC? We do. So why would we do that if the benzoic acid in the fruit could turn into benzene? Well, it can't. And so we have to just educate ourselves and be smart and move forward here. Sodium benzoate is the stabilized form of benzoic acid, which is a naturally occurring substance in fruits. And it's stabilized by an attachment to a sodium molecule. Now, here's where the myth started. Years ago, soft drink companies found benzene in their soft drinks, which had been preserved with sodium benzoate. And everybody freaked out. Oh my God, it's the sodium benzoate, which is tantamount to thinking that a horse can turn into a cow if you ride it hard enough. Yeah, I don't think that's going to happen. I suppose it's possible, but it's not going to happen. Well, interestingly enough, the horse is out of the barn, pun intended. The myth populates through the culture, even though that when the soft drink companies investigated it, benzene was found in the water that they were using to put into the soft drink. It wasn't from the sodium benzoate. It was from contaminated, polluted water that, somehow benzene got in it. Maybe probably from a dry cleaner. Who knows? Runoff from somewhere bad. No environmental control, no thought for people living downstream. Industry gone mad. Fascism on the rise. The marriage of corporations and government. Good for a few, bad for most. So the benzene that actually was found in soft drinks came from polluted water that they used to make the soft drink. Didn't have anything to do with sodium benzoate, and yet the horse was out of the barn. The myth persists. This is similar to the myth that exists in the world right now about the relationship between Alzheimer's and aluminum. It's nonsense. There is no relationship between Alzheimer's and aluminum. If there was, then every vegetarian in the world would have Alzheimer's, because aluminum is either the first or the second most abundant mineral in the earth. And as we're going to learn here in a minute, minerals are sucked up into the bodies of plants, and then we eat the plant and we get the minerals. So if aluminum was related to Alzheimer's, every vegetarian in the world would have aluminum. And here's what happened with that myth. A researcher was sectioning parts of a brain of an Alzheimer's patient who died. Yes, that they did it after they died. And they put the little slices of the brain onto a dish. They added a dye so that they could see it, and they did chemical analyses of the tissues. What they found was massive amounts of aluminum in the tissues. Oh my God, there's aluminum. Aluminum causes Alzheimer's. They published it. Direct relationship, direct, statistically significant. 2 weeks after it was published, more or less, one of the researchers said, oops, the media that we put the tissue on, the slices of the brain, was made from aluminum. So they repeated the experiment on non-aluminum media, no aluminum. In the next issue of the journal, they retracted their findings. I don't know if you've ever read a scientific journal or a medical journal, but the retractions are in a little tiny paragraph buried at the end that nobody looks at. Horses out of the barn, cats out of the bag. Everybody thinks, oh, aluminum causes Alzheimer's. It's nuts. It's nonsense. It's bad science. Don't go there. Bad dog, no biscuit. There's no relationship between benzene and sodium benzoate. And by the way, longevity checks all of the time, as most prudent companies do, for no reason really than to just to have it in the file so that people who are uneducated about any of this will sleep soundly at night. Oh, longevity checked and there's no benzene. Well, there's never going to be benzene in it, unless, of course, the water that they use is polluted. But as we're going to see in a minute, that ain't going to happen either. So remember, science is a harsh taskmaster. It cuts both ways. And the scientific inquiry will free your mind if you apply it in an unbiased way. And that's a rare thing in the 21st century. This information, by the way, from Steve Wallach, the founder or the CEO of Longevity, Dr. Wallach's son. Now, what are we up to here, right? Well, remember, with medical nutrition, it's not what you swallow, it's what you absorb. So you have to be swallowing formulas that are put together in recipes that are easy to digest and then easy for your body to absorb into the bloodstream. If you don't do this, then it doesn't matter how good the supplement is, technically, theoretically, speculatively, how good it looks on the label, because if you can't digest it and absorb it, what good is it? You're going to poop it out. So absorption of the nutritional supplements is paramount. It's secondary only to the recipe. Now, Longevity's nutritional supplements, the foundation products of Longevity, are all liquid. We talked about this before. Why are they liquid? Because liquid supplements are absorbed most efficiently and most effectively. We need to kill the bugs that are in the liquid supplement. We need to use preservatives to do that. And if we don't use preservatives to kill the bug, we are going to be SOL. And there is a really good reference to one of the best scientific papers I've ever seen on sodium benzoate. And I put it into the chat room. It's at the very top or bottom of the chat box. It was the first entry tonight, so you can cut, copy, and paste that and go to that website. If you're a geek or a science person at all, you can go there, read. It's a 45-page document, I think, 48 pages, 46 pages, something like that. It tells you everything you ever wanted to know about how sodium benzoate is metabolized in the human body and animals, whether you ingest it or you put it on the skin. It's remarkable. And it will allay your fears. There is no relationship between sodium benzoate and benzene, and you need the preservative, or else you're not going to like the way that your nutritional supplement looks if it's a liquid supplement after 7 days after you open it. So, Longevity's message, 90 for life. This implies the 90 essential nutrients that are necessary for life. And here's the breakdown. 60 minerals, 16 vitamins, 12 amino acids, and 2 fatty acids. These are nutrients that your body needs, but it cannot make. Your body cannot make vitamin C. Your body cannot make vitamin B. Your body cannot make vitamin D. Your body cannot make calcium, sulfur, zinc, magnesium, or the 56 other minerals that it needs just to function normally. So 90 essential nutrients, and anybody that can do math can see pretty quickly that the lion's share of your nutrient needs are minerals. Minerals. This is why Longevity's nutritional supplements, there are 2 reasons why Longevity's, well, 3 reasons why Longevity's nutritional supplements produce more remarkable results than anything I've ever seen. Number 1 is the research that informed the recipes. Dr. Wallach's research, $25 million of research, tens of thousands of autopsies, millions of blood chemistries and histopathologies, married to decades of clinical work as a licensed naturopathic physician. Doesn't get any better than that. So we've got the research and the recipes, and then the way that the products are formulated, the actual physical process through which the products go when they're made in order to increase their absorption into your system. That's the whole goal. Now, in attempting to understand all of this, it's prudent to get a grasp on minerals. Because as you can see, the minerals are 66%, 2/3 of your body's nutrient needs. 60 out of 90, that's 2/3. So we're going to finish out this webinar by understanding what's up with minerals. And this is what makes longevity. This is what makes longevity stand out from the pack. Their understanding and use of minerals. Nobody does minerals like longevity does minerals. And because minerals are 60%, 66% of your body's nutrient needs, unless you've got that one figured out, you're going to be spitting into the wind. Size matters. Size matters, especially when we are talking about minerals. Here's another chart for the geeks amongst us. This is kind of a down and dirty representation of the different size of organic molecules. And the further we go that way, on the graph, the further we go that way on the graph, the smaller things get, right? So here we have bacteria. You can see that bacteria are smaller than sand. They're smaller than silt. Some types of clay are the same size as bacteria. Viruses mostly are smaller than bacteria. There's some bacteria and viruses that are the same size, but for most part, viruses are smaller than bacteria. Metals that are found in the ground, like calcium, zinc, sulfur, right? Metals that are found in the ground, which have not yet been digested by plants, are about the same size as viruses. They're relatively big, relatively big on a biological scale. However, when minerals are sucked up into the body of a plant and the body of the plant metabolizes the mineral, it changes a lot of things about the mineral. It changes its ionic signature, it changes its ionic charge, and it also chops the mineral up size-wise. And humic acid and fulvic acid are the main constituent carriers of plant-derived minerals. And then last on the list, we have fatty acids, carbohydrates, amino acids, and hydrocarbons. And way down here, we have the size of water molecules. So when it comes to minerals and their ability to be absorbed into a living biological system, an animal, the smaller the better. The smaller the better. You know, one of the few times in life that I can say that with impunity. Now, we need to talk about minerals. We need to understand about minerals and what's going on here, because remember, they're 66% of the nutrient needs. Or longevities, well, minerals can be found in the earth, right? I mean, the only person that makes a mineral is God. Plants can't make minerals. Animals can't make minerals. The most common form is rocks. And then rocks get pulverized by wind and sand and whatever else, and they go down into sand, and then they go into dust, and then they go into the soil, and then the soil gets collapsed and compressed, and it turns into peat moss, and then it turns into humic shale, and then it turns into oil, and then it turns into coal, and then it turns into diamonds, right? Minerals and organic matter gets compressed like that. The main best way to get minerals, which are okay for the human body, is in the form of humic shale. You can also get minerals in the ocean, but most of the minerals that are in the ocean are the metallic size, the bigger sized minerals that haven't been digested by plants, that have washed into the ocean from, you know, the surface of the earth. You can get it in lake beds, and the best place to secure minerals is plants, because plants digest the minerals for you. Actually, it's the bacteria in the soil that digests the mineral, and then the plant sucks it up. The plant changes the ionic signature of the mineral, and then it makes it very easy for you to absorb it. Then, of course, if animals eat the plants and you eat the animals, then you're going to get some of the minerals that are in the animal's body. Now, this is a picture of the mine that longevity secures its minerals from. And I'm going to blow this up here for you because it's an important thing to understand. This is a mine in southern Utah that longevity owns the exclusive land rights to. And this is where longevity's minerals come from. You see this stuff right here? This band of kind of dark material right there? That's humic shale. Humic shale is plants from the dinosaur days, plants from Jurassic Park, gigantic plants. The plants in dinosaur days were 100 times bigger than the plants now are. The giant plants. The oxygen levels in the atmosphere was much higher. Everything was much bigger, animals and plants. Well, when the plants decayed over time, remember what was in the plant? Well, minerals. So the plants decayed over time, and they get squished down by the earth. And in this case, they formed in humic shale, and they stopped forming at that level. They didn't go on to becoming more compressed to turn into oil or coal or diamonds. It stopped at humic shale, and humic shale is 99.99999% minerals, which were pre-digested by plants. Now, on top of longevity's mineral deposit mine in Utah is a limestone cap. And this is very, very important to understand. I'm going to tell you why that's important later. But first, we need to go back in time. So let's take a little time travel. Remember, remain calm. I'm the doctor. Let's go back to dinosaur days. Dinosaurs ruled the earth. And in those days, Lots of volcanic activity, lots of oxygen in the atmosphere, lots of plants, no pollution, right? No pollution from humans. Nobody's screwing up the environment, pouring toxic crap into the lakes and the rivers. It's all 100% organic and natural. But everything is huge. I mean, everything is huge. The animals and the plants. So we've got huge dinosaur plants growing in soil that is abundantly rich in minerals because of all of the volcanic activity. Abundantly rich in minerals. Remember, what do minerals come from? Well, minerals are rocks. So the more volcanic activity, the more rocks. And then the oceans and the rivers wash the stuff down into the lake bed. And then it goes into the the tides rise and fall like the Nile Delta. And you get extremely rich deposits of minerals in the soil from all of this dinosaur day activity of the earth just doing what it does. Now, the minerals are in the soil, and the bacteria that's in the soil digest the minerals. The plants suck the digested minerals up into the body of the plant. The plant metabolizes the minerals that the bacteria pre-digested into a colloid. And on that size scale, the colloidal minerals are the perfect size to be absorbed into the human body, the perfect size to be absorbed into the human body. If you found some calcium carbonate, right, the White Cliffs of Dover, right, that's metallic calcium. You went, you dug some of that up, you purified it, put it into a blender, added some water and drank it down. Because it's a larger metallic size, your body's going to have a lot of difficulty absorbing that. I mean, I'm not sure that it can absorb it at all. It can absorb it a little bit, but a pre-digested plant-derived colloidal mineral, I mean, that's like, that's like Dom Perignon. I mean, that's really, really good stuff. This is the preferred form. Now, think about it. What on earth is this animal going to need in order to sustain this gigantic of a body mass? And it was all of the animals back in those days. It wasn't just Brontosaurus. I mean, everything was huge. So in order for this to happen, the animals had to be eating plants which were rich in minerals, because remember, minerals are 66% of your body's needs, whether you're an animal or whether you're a human animal or a dinosaur animal. 66% of your body's needs, minerals. So in order for dinosaurs to be as huge as they were, there had to be massive amounts of minerals in the soil, which there were. Then what happens? The asteroid hits. Dinosaurs die. Everything dies. Earth goes dark. Clouds forever. Everything dies. The animals die, the dinosaurs die, but the plants also died. The giant dinosaur plants loaded with colloidal minerals, they died too. And now they're all decaying in the earth, and they get layered over in millions of years. Man, I mean, you just can't even imagine how much time this is. Millions of years go by. And what do we have? Humic shale, which is decayed dinosaur plants loaded with pre-digested plant-derived colloidal minerals. I mean, this is a beautiful thing, man. But, and this is where they are. It's all plant-derived colloidal dinosaur stuff. It's awesome. A little chock full of nuts, man. But remember, these minerals they dissolve in water. So while this stuff is decaying, what happens if it rains? It's not good. It all washes away, goes away, finds its way into the river, finds its way into the ocean, and then adios, amigo. No more minerals in the rock. They're washed away. This particular deposit that Longevity owns, that they extract all their minerals from, is capped with a limestone cap. And the limestone cap prevented water from leaching down into the humic shale and rinsing all the minerals away. This was an unbelievable coincidence of events at this geographical location on planet Earth, which maintained the integrity of the plant-derived colloidal minerals in the humic shale. They didn't rinse away because that limestone cap protected it. Now, you know how many events had to transpire for all of this to happen just so? And then, of course, for longevity to find it. 90 for life, 66% of the 90 essential nutrients are minerals. And Dr. Wallach found this deposit and secured the claim to it. I mean, what else is he going to do? Raise the dead? Probably. I mean, I don't know, man. This is not normal human behavior. To be able to figure all of this out and find this. Now, you can argue there must be other places on planet Earth where similar things have happened. Well, probably. We haven't found them yet. I mean, maybe there's one in outer Mongolia somewhere. You want to go? You want to go look? I don't want to go look. I'm just going to relax and sleep really soundly at night because Wallach's got my back. Figured it out. It's a done deal. And of course, people always say, well, no, it's when's it going to run out? Well, I think the latest calculation is 200 years from now they'll run out. So maybe by then we'll find the other deposit, because I plan on being around 200 years from now. I don't know about you. So do you get it? Do you understand it now? Plant-derived colloidal minerals. I mean, in this one particular location, and longevity has a lock on it. So here's what's in longevity's plant-derived minerals from the dinosaur era. 70 plus trace minerals. They're all plant-derived, certified organic. It's the only source they've ever used. They don't get their minerals from anybody else. And, you know, minerals aren't stockpiled, you know, in places around the earth, is what I was alluding to before. Good luck finding another deposit like this. By the way, longevity's plant-derived organic colloidal minerals are OMRI listed. This is an independent nonprofit group that fact checks whether your stuff is organic or not. And longevity's has been certified and listed by them forever. So organic, plant-derived colloidal minerals giving you 66% of your body's nutritional needs in a liquid form. It's a liquid form. These are pictures of the facility in which longevity extracts the liquid minerals from the rocks. So they get the humic shale, they put it into a crusher, they put it into like a giant coffee grinder, they grind it up, and then they put it in big vats of water. It goes through charcoal filters, diatomaceous earth filter, which is really pretty cool, micro screens. They expose it to ultraviolet light in case there's any weird little nasty bacteria in there. The ultraviolet light kills them. They're way ahead of their time, by the way. And I don't know if you're a hot tub enthusiast or a pool enthusiast, but ultraviolet light is all the rage now in hot tubs and in pools, replacing chlorine because it kills the bugs that grow in standing water much more efficiently than chlorine does. Longevity's been doing this forever. Their facility is so clean and the water that they use is so pure because of all of this filtration process that if they wanted to, they could be licensed to manufacture pharmaceuticals at their facility. That's how rigorous their quality controls are about water purity. And then they put all of the purified water and all of the rocks in these drums. No, not that type of drum. No, not that type of drum, and definitely not that type of drum. They put it in these drums, and they stir the stuff around. And in these drums, longevity can add whatever they want: vitamins, amino acids, other minerals. You can add whatever they want, herbs, whatever they want. And these drums are specifically designed to mix it all up beautifully. And this is how they do it. So they grind the rocks up. They let them sit in the purified water. They filter it out so they only get the colloidal minerals in there. They expose it to UV light so there's no bugs. Then they bottle it. Bottles are washed, filled with product, liquid nitrogen is added. This is important because we talk about the negative effects of oxidation all the time. Oxidation is the leading cause of entropy. Oxidation will kill you slowly. Oxidation is caused by oxygen atoms that have lost an electron. Oxygen atoms that have lost an electron. So how does longevity get on the other side of that? Well, when they squirt the stuff into the bottles, they do it in a nitrogen chamber, not an oxygen chamber, so the stuff can't oxidize until you open the bottle. Brilliant. Again, way ahead of their time. Then they seal it, they label it, they batch it, and they date it. I mean, it's a remarkable process. All done in order to get the maximum yield from the Jurassic deposit of the dinosaur plants, humic shale, plant-derived colloidal minerals. Brilliant, unbelievable, quite frankly. Yielding, in this doctor's humble opinion, the most effective nutritional supplements I've ever seen. Why is this? Well, because of the minerals and the recipes and the formulations, the science, the brilliance behind it all. I've seen people cured of chronic disease that I didn't think it was possible to cure with longevity nutritional supplements. I've seen it. Everybody has. This is the best thing to happen to medicine since the invention of the sterile technique. No kidding. Remember our motto, fire your medical doctor, man. They don't have anything for you when it comes to chronic disease. Your medical doctor is the MD-directed medical therapeutics are the leading cause of death and the leading cause of bankruptcy in the United States, and they don't work. So we need to find a different way, right? We need to find a different way. And longevity is that way. Because longevity offers for everybody over the counter. You don't need a doctor's prescription. You don't need a copay. You don't need to go to the hospital. You don't need an x-ray. You don't need diagnostic discovery. You need a little bit of education to know which longevity supplements to take, how to take them, what to do, and then just get on with it and give your body the stuff it needs to fix itself. And this is my strength. If you liked tonight's free webinar, you're going to love the stuff that I have available on my insider subscription service. I have a subscription service chock filled with information. I have 120 hours of archived health webinars. I talk about everything from acne to xenophobia. I tell you what the MDs think about it, why they're wrong, what we think about it, why we're right, and how to fix it. I tell you exactly what to do, what supplements to take and how many and how often and how frequently. I line it all up for you because I can. If you really want to get started, go to this website and get my book. It's free. Is free good? Knowledge is power, ladies and gentlemen. You don't know what you don't know. You need to educate yourself. Bring yourself up to speed or you will fall victim to the incompetence brought to the table by the MDs. Because when you're sick, you're scared. You're going to do whatever they tell you to do, even though it's ridiculous. So educate yourself in the meantime. if you're smart enough to pass the driver's license test, you're smart enough to know how to support your body's ability to cure itself from chronic disease. You're smart enough to do that. And I've helped you with my website. We're all in this together because the pharmaceutical industry has let us down. Conventional medical practice have let us down. We're dangling in the wind. And if we don't hang together, most assuredly, we will hang alone. Let me help you the best that I can. I really appreciate your time and your trust and your continued support. If somebody invited you to this webinar and you liked what you heard, then get with them to get information about how to interface with Youngevity, how to move forward, how to get started. If you found us on your own through a YouTube ad that we threw up or a Facebook ad, then go to my website and click on the link on the front page. And a Youngevity representative that we've trained, that we trust, that we know knows what they're doing will be in touch with you to show you the ropes. This is a grassroots coalition of the informed. This is brothers and sisters and men and women and, yes, children all around the world helping their friends, their family, their community members, their church members, ushering them into the undiscovered country, for most, of science-based, clinically verified medical nutrition. I very much look forward to meeting you in person at some time in the future. Until then, I am your steadfast advocate for health, Dr. Peter Glidden. Live long and prosper. I'll see you around campus.